Tuesday at 12, and this is Aperture and Shutter Speed, the photography radio show where you can learn and share your love for photography. I'm Chelsea Williams, a portrait photographer in Conroe. If you have any questions during this show, you can comment on Aperture and Shutter Speed's Facebook page. Today, I'm talking with Joe Say it.
It's Joe Lippeatt, yeah.
Joe Lippeatt. Well, thank you for being here. He's with Houston Photo Walks.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And we're going to get all into what your group's about. Before we jump into that, I am going to announce just a few things coming up on the calendar. The Woodlands Camera Club on September 15th is doing Learning to Shoot. And September 19th, they're doing Processing Your Photos. Also, I think obviously it's too late for this one thing coming up, but it's kind of neat they're doing it. On the 16th, they're leaving to go on a field trip to Kenya.
That's a good group of people, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you wanted to get really involved in something and you wanted to do something amazing, obviously you missed this chance to go to Kenya, but, sign up for the next one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Figure out what's going on. So you can see their calendar and see everything that's going on with them at the woodlandscameraclub.org. And the Woodlands Photography Club on September 24th is doing a field trip to Woodville, Texas. If you want more information on that, it's just woodlandsphoto.org. PPGH is having their club meeting and election on September 20th from 5 to 9:30. And the presenter is going to be doing the Art and Soul of Gail Nogle. So just ppgh.org if you want to register for that. And it's not too late to sign up for Photogenesis. It's September 30th to October 2nd. It's just tpba.org/photogenesis, I think. Anyway, so now that that's over with, I ask everybody, what pictures have you been taking lately? Post them to our Facebook page and show us, or just drop us a line and tell us what you've been taking pictures of. How about you, Joe? What have you been taking pictures of?
Well, I got a chance to go to the Houston Cistern, the place where they used to hold the water way back almost 100 years ago. And they've opened it up for tours, and they also let photographers in there sometimes. You have to pay a little extra if you're a photographer because, the tour has fewer people. But we got to go in there and take some pictures, do some low light photography stuff, and some panos, and I had a really good time there. It was really interesting to see some of the architecture from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And I saw that on y'all's calendar, and I kind of wanted to go to that one. That one was pretty cool. No, you should have
come. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you should have come.
So how high did you have to bump up your ISO to get some really good low light pictures?
Actually, I usually run at 200 ISO, and when I'm doing low light. So I went 200 ISO, and I put my shutter, I think, at f8. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, my aperture at f8, and then I let the shutter choose how long it was going to stay open. Basically putting it in aperture priority. And I think nothing went over 30 seconds. There's just enough ambient lighting to get some pretty good pictures without having to go, like a crazy 3-minute, exposure or whatever. But by keeping the ISO down, cut down on the noise, which, if there's a lot of grunge and a lot of that cement has a lot of nice texture, and you want to get that in your photo without getting too much of the noise that our cameras can introduce once you get past 400, 800 ISO.
So do y'all post those somewhere after you've taken the pictures so y'all can share? Yeah,
we do. It's in fact, photography sharing is a big part of what we do in the group. We post them on HoustonPhotoWalks.com, which is basically the website that we all go to manage the group. But we also have a Facebook page, and so a lot of people post their stuff on the Facebook page. For whatever reason, we have in two different places because some people just find one place easier than the other. We have people that are absolutely against Facebook for whatever reason, and then we have some people that find Facebook easier to manage, as far as uploading pictures. So,
well, I didn't do anything like that recently. Actually, the pictures that I'm most excited about were ones that I didn't really even take.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, if anybody listens on a regular basis, I had Diana Waguespack on last month, I guess, And I took my daughter Cheyenne over to her house and did an underwater back-to-school photo shoot.
Oh, wow. That is really cool.
And so I thought it was cool watching Diana do her thing and get everything set up and her gear and everything. And Cheyenne had a blast. And then Diana did give me one of her smaller cameras to play with and take pictures of her taking pictures of Cheyenne.
That's really cool. That's very cool.
So that was our excitement for the weekend. And,
I would love to do that kind of stuff, but it takes a special kind of skill level and a special set of equipment to do that kind of stuff.
And things that you wouldn't even think about, because we were having to put weights in Cheyenne's. She wore a little dress and then she had her swimsuit under, so we were putting weights in her swimsuit. And I had bought this little chair that looks like it's made out of big pencils, and that thing just floated bad.
Yeah.
So we ended up filling a lunch kit with rocks and setting it on top of the chair to try to hold it down. But there's a lot of things you would never think of with underwater shooting, but it was fun.
Oh, and makeup. Trying to do makeup and trying to do an underwater shoot and with makeup on. Yeah, I bet. But it sounds like a lot of fun, though.
Oh yeah, it was really neat.
Now, did she hold up the sign that says first day of what grade is she in?
She's in second grade.
So did she hold up the sign that the regular normal, the sign we see everybody on Facebook holding up?
Well, we tried to do some kind of out of the box stuff. I had the chair and the lunch kit, and she had an apple. But in a couple of pictures, she did hold a chalkboard. We didn't write anything on it. We're going to do that in post-processing.
Okay.
But it was kind of funny watching her trying to swim with it and be underwater. Yeah.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
But
well, I can't wait to see them when you post them. Let me know. It sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to post them to the Facebook page, Aperture and Shutter Speed's Facebook page.
Oh, very cool.
And I don't know, maybe I'll do more experimenting personally with underwater photography. It was neat.
Well, we did at Houston Photo Walks. We actually did a scuba diving class that was put on by one of the Houston area scuba diving places, and they actually had like a pool in the back. And so I showed up. We had about 10 people that showed up for the class, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to learn because everybody had their. Most people, they either had their telephone in a pouch.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, to take pictures with, or they use some type of device to capture, photons. But so I got there and I'm reading through the information, and it says, if you're above the age of 45, you can't participate. I'm like, wait a second. I brought you guys, all these people, and we're here, and now you're saying that I can't even play. So I laid down on the side of the pool.
Oh, no.
Yeah, laid down on the side of the pool and to put my camera underwater. I had my my GoPro and was taking pictures under the water on the side. Yeah, I was kind of sad, but
that's terrible.
Oh, I know, and it sounded like such a great event. So I just can't imagine what a great time you guys had. Was it this weekend? Last weekend?
Yes, Saturday.
Yeah, I bet you guys had a blast.
And also it was scattered thunderstorms throughout the day, so we were trying to work around the impending rain and thunderstorms that were coming on.
Rain would have been okay, but
the lightning.
Yeah, the lightning would have been an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, but we did that photo shoot in the morning, and then that night my daughter had a swim party, and so she just spent the whole day in the water and avoiding the rain.
Her little toes were raisins.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually you just mentioned lightning and being out in the pool, and the first thing I thought was, you don't want to get your gear zapped. But I guess having your daughter in the pool would have been bad too.
That's bad too.
Yeah, okay. Now that I think about it, there are other priorities too. So
I know. Sometimes it's hard for us to really think about what the priority is. We're very concerned with our gear.
Right, exactly. Let's go out and do something today. Well, it's 100 degrees outside. Oh, you're saying it's too hot? It's like, well, I don't want to leave my gear in the car.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you'll stick with us, I have more questions for you with Houston Photo Walks and all that.
Sure. Sounds
so we'll be right back on Aperture and Shutter Speed.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or Have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Welcome back. I'm Chelsea Williams here talking to Joe with Houston Photo Walks. So we talked a little bit about Houston Photo Walks, but first I want to ask personally how you got interested in photography.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I was concerned that I wasn't going to have an answer. I never remember cameras not being in our house. Growing up, there was always a camera or a set of cameras in our house. So when my mother went to 35 millimeter, an SLR, she got the Canon AE1. For everybody who's, my age may remember that particular camera, but she used it for a while and then she set it down. And I guess around 14 or 15 is when I picked it up and started using it. And I don't remember a particular time where that wasn't the case. I would take it and it had a 50 millimeter lens, and I would flip the 50 millimeter lens backwards and put it up against the body and do macro shots. And I would, put money on the table or, put money somewhere and light the money and then take pictures of the wrinkles and of the cash and, of the lines. And I don't know, it's just always been there. So. Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm good because I've been doing it for, so many years, but I just have always been interested in it. Yeah.
My first SLR was a Pentax, and I got it for my birthday when I turned 14. And I remember having these, they were kind of like filters that you screwed on that were for macro.
Sure.
And so there was 3 different ones, and I ended up just like putting them all on the same time to do macro. And you wouldn't even think about something so silly now, but
yeah, actually, they still sell them.
They do.
Yeah, you can still get extension tubes and macro filters. Yeah.
And then when I ended up changing cameras, I still had the filters, and I would just like hold them up in front of my camera.
Right.
They didn't fit, but I would just sit there and hold them in front of what I was doing, and
it gets the job done.
Yeah. And I don't know. I know when I was a kid, I liked just seeing textures and things and everything.
Exactly.
It was a lot of fun.
Especially, when you're looking at a nickel, you look at a piece of metal, but when you look at it really close, you see all the little dents and all the places where it's been dropped or something was dropped on it. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like macro photography.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So, you've always had photography in your life. What have you done over the years to kind of just learn and build on what you know?
Well, when I was in college, I didn't go to college for photography, but I took photography classes in college as part of my electives. It was just, it's one of those things where, if you know a foreign language, you take the foreign language because it's going to be an easy A, right? So I was able to broaden my experience and the things that I've learned or things that I knew already through some classes in college. Until college, I had never actually developed or printed on my own. So I learned that, and I learned a few other things. And then after college, there came a time where I had to pay for college, and so I had to sell some of my gear, unfortunately, in order to cover some expenses. You either buy books or you have an enlarger. Which are you gonna, which one are you gonna pick? And but then after when I got back into it, I started reading again, and so the internet has been a lot of help, and rubbing elbows with talented people and creative people has also been a real big help, and that's how I've learned what I know today.
Oh yeah, I imagine with Houston Photo Walks, you meet all kinds of people that y'all can really help each other out.
Oh yeah, and everybody almost. I've never walked up to somebody or seen somebody walk up to another person and say, "I don't understand how to do this. Can you help me?" And they get told no.
Right.
Somebody may say, "Well, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to your question. Let's go find somebody who does." But yeah, it's really amazing when you're with people that are creative, how it helps generate creative juices in yourself. Especially when you go to a place with, let's say you go to a place with 5 people, you see 5 different perspectives that are based on people's emotional state and based on people's upbringing, their personal interest in photography. So then when you go with those 5 other people and you see the images you took, it gives you an opportunity to see, okay, if I had that same interest, what maybe the picture I would have taken. And it really helps people to, to expand what it is that they're interested in,
Right.
or in especially expand their knowledge base. Because somebody will say, hey, I don't know how you got, like, how did you get the headlights in the car to be like streaking along the road? And when you have somebody that you're with who knows how to do that, it's a big deal. It's great to be able to talk with people that know how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And it didn't just happen by accident.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen by accident. Yeah. Exactly.
So how would you personally classify yourself as a photographer? Are you walking around doing these photo walks like a journalistic photographer? What kind of photography do you do?
Oh, I mostly shoot people. I really enjoy shooting people, and in fact, we'll go on a nature walk, or we'll go on an architectural photo walk. Everybody's taking pictures of the building, and I'm taking pictures of people taking pictures.
Yeah.
That's just my personal interest is taking pictures of people.
I like doing that when I travel, kind of watching people that don't know that you're watching them.
Right.
And just seeing how they kind of interact with everything going on.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they're other tourists and how they're enjoying it, or locals, being able to take pictures of locals. Yeah.
I remember, gosh, it's been a while now, but I was in a little shopping area in Naples one time, and this boy was playing like an accordion, and he had this saddest, like, most horrible look on his face, and he was just going around playing the accordion, trying to solicit some money.
Sure.
And everybody was just ignoring him. He was like inches from other people, and they were just ignoring him. And so I did just sit there and watch him and take a few pictures, and you got to throw him a little bit of change for it. But,
Right.
I don't know. I love that aspect of just kind of watching what's going on all around you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and that's kind of a South thing, because if we see somebody on the side of the road playing a banjo or playing a guitar or something, I don't know. At least for me, I don't mind walking over there and throwing them a few bucks if they'll let me take a few pictures of them.
Yeah. Oh gosh. This past spring, I was in Cartagena, and there's this woman with this huge fruit basket on her head, and she's, trying to get people's attention. She's very brightly dressed. And so I stopped and I took a picture, just snapped, and immediately her hand went straight out. Like,
oh, yep.
You took a picture, okay?
Right,
and I'm like, all right, I understand.
This is how commerce works.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, some people, it's expected.
Yeah, exactly. Very much.
So you've been in photography forever, I guess, because it's always been around. But what led to you organizing Houston Photo Walks?
It's actually a very selfish and personal story. So I would see on Facebook and Flickr, which were the two communities I was really active in at the time, where people would get together in groups and go out and shoot certain things. And I thought, wow, that's really cool that people get together and that they're having social time and they're getting to know each other and they're friends, so on and so forth. And I just wasn't involved in that because I wasn't interested in the subjects. People would go out and they would shoot like birds, or they would shoot nature, or do nature photography in groups. And I really liked the aspect of getting together in a group of people, but I didn't want to shoot birds. It just doesn't. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not my interest.
Right.
Some people. There's people. I have friends on Facebook that they'll take pictures of birds and they'll just name off. Oh, they can even the Greek name for the bird, the Latin name for the bird, and they can take a picture of it and know its weight just by looking at the picture. And it's like, how do you know how many? It's like, well, I just learned all this. And I just can't relate to that.
Yeah.
This is not something that really, that grabs me. But I want to do the same kind of thing, but I want to do stuff that maybe other groups wouldn't do. And the very first photo walk that we did, as an example, was we went late at night downtown Houston. And that's something I had tried to get friends to do on several occasions. They're like, downtown Houston, in the dark
At night?
At nighttime. But I said, there's got to be other people out there that want to do this kind of weird stuff. And so I started the group, and we got about 30 people together. We did our first downtown photo walk in the dark. It was raining that night, too, but still we had 30 people show up, and we had a great time, and it just took off from there.
How neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I think that's great. Just to try to find people with your same interests.
Right.
Because honestly, I'm in a bird group on Facebook, and I don't post anything, but I like watching it. But I have the same kind of thing of how do you know all this stuff?
I know, right? I mean, I can look at a picture of a bird and say, wow, that's a beautiful picture of a bird. It's not that, I just don't know what kind of bird it is, but I know it's a beautiful picture of a bird. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the people that know all the stuff about them,
So since Houston Photo Walks has started, do you have any idea how many meetups you have done?
Oh, I should have looked that up. I used to have it memorized because I would say at the beginning of every meetup, "Welcome to our 25th, meeting or whatever." But I think we're up to around 350.
Wow.
Yeah, about 350. We were averaging, I guess, for the first couple of years, we were averaging 4 events a month. But that just got a little bit, that got a little difficult for the organizers to keep up with. So we do 2 or 3 events a month now.
But still, I mean,
for the last 7 years.
Plenty of stuff to jump into there.
Right.
Well, I have more questions for you, but how about we take a little bit of break, and when we come back, I'll dig your brain, or pick at your brain a little bit more.
Oh, no, don't dig.
Pick at your brain a little bit more.
Okay, sounds good.
Did you know your favorite show on Lone Star Community Radio are on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, you name it, they're on it. Check out where they are online on irlonestar.com/shows and see which of your favorite hosts are online. Make sure to follow them and see what is in store for the next broadcast. Follow Lone Star Community Radio on Twitter at irlonestar or Facebook with facebook.com/irlonestar.
Welcome back to Aperture and Shutter Speed. I'm sitting here talking to Joe from Houston Photo Walks. Earlier, we were talking about different things that y'all have done. So far, I've heard about scuba diving pictures and the cisterns last week.
Right.
And the first thing y'all did was nighttime photography in Houston, which was raining.
Right.
So it sounds like y'all do a lot of different types of events. What different types of things do y'all try to photograph?
Well, you're right. We do a lot of different kinds of things, and one of the ways that we do that is by having multiple group organizers or multiple organization people that are in charge of the organization, because there's like the nature photography, we have somebody who is really good at helping us find good places to go for nature photography where maybe I wouldn't. We have people that in the group that really pay attention to stuff that's going on in Houston as far as like events that are happening in Houston, so they can help us form events for that kind of stuff. So I mean, we really don't limit ourselves to a specific photography genre or a specific photography interest. So I mean, we've done architecture, events, travel. We've been to several museums in Houston, and of course, I'll teach classes, so I'll do a class about every other month or once a month or so. The class is basically $20 for 2 hours worth of photography class is basically what I do. But I mean, we try to go to some interesting museums where people may not have known about. Like in Houston there's a museum of funeral history. And not everybody knows about the Museum of Funeral. It's at the National Museum of Funeral History. And so we've done a couple of photo walks there. We pay a little extra money basically to, so we can get in maybe an hour or two early before the rest of the general public can get in. that way, we don't have people walking into our shots
Right.
and that kind of stuff. And we also do travel stuff. Like we've been to Alaska. We went to Belize. We went to Victoria, Canada, and our last one we went to New England during the fall and photographed some of the changing colors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That'd be
starting in New
wonderful.
York. Yeah, we had a great time. So we don't really limit ourselves, on what it is that we do. We have a lot of different experiences that we try to provide for group members.
Yeah. If you can't get good pictures going to Alaska or seeing the leaves change, I mean, that's just...
You would think, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So out of everybody that participates in your group, what would you say the skill level is? And do you think there's a mixture of all different skill levels? Or, I mean, you kind of touched about it earlier about people helping each other. But
there's definitely a mixture of skill levels. I would say that the vast majority of the people that are in the group are using either entry level or advanced or mid-range DSLRs, and that their skill level is in the mid-range, maybe the enthusiast level photographer, hobbyist photographer. We do have people that come in that are just amazing photographers, professional level photographers, and then we have people that come in that are brand new photographers, and that they're there for the classes and they're there
Right.
to have experiences where they can learn from other people.
so nobody should be scared away if they don't really know what's going on yet.
No, not at all. Nobody should be scared away. I mean, we do things that are a little unusual sometimes, like walking down in the middle of the night in downtown Houston may not be for everybody, and that's completely okay. We don't even have a limit on the number of times somebody has to come to an event
Right.
or whatever. A minimum number is what I'm trying to say. We don't have a minimum number of events that somebody has to attend. They can come to as many or as few as they want. They can come to the ones that interest them the most. But yeah, we actually, it's not just DSLR users. We have people that come in with point and shoots, and we have a fair number of people that enjoy shooting with camera phones, and they'll show up with their carbon fiber tripods, that they paid $300 for, and their special iPhone holder with a ball head, and it's like, hey, if that's their medium of interest
Yeah.
for their photography and for their art, then that's great. So we certainly don't hold anybody back.
Yeah. I think it's funny how many people are exclusively going to cell phones now.
Yeah.
And whatever. If it makes you happy, I guess.
Right. And plus, it's the weight. The DSLR plus a couple of lenses plus 2 batteries plus, everything else. And it gets heavy.
I don't understand. I wouldn't know what photography was if I wasn't carrying around a bunch of gear.
Right? Exactly.
I'm always used to all my lenses and stuff like that. So what do you think the main benefit to jumping in and joining the group is?
The main benefit, I'll be really honest with you, it's getting the camera off the shelf. A lot of people it's just like exercise equipment. You'll buy exercise equipment and say, oh, well, if I pay $200 for this exercise equipment, that just means I'm going to use it. And I have $200 exercise equipment in my house right now that I have not stepped on in years. And we can do that with our cameras too, where we have great intentions when we go and we buy this, $1,200 system. And then we get frustrated because we take half a dozen pictures or we take them out a couple of times and we're not happy with the results.
Right.
And so we put it down, and so the idea behind a photography group is you're in a social photography group with a bunch of people that are in the same boat as you, that are just as interested in the medium as you, that need just as much encouragement to get off the couch on Saturday afternoon as you do. And I mean, we're all in the same boat. So I think that's one of the main benefits. And there's also, I mean, we get to go into places that other just as a single person, you may not be able to go to. There's, like we were able to provide discounts for certain things, that sort of thing. And as a group, we have buying power. So like we go on cruises or we go on trips, and where, we go on, while we're there, we might take an excursion. An excursion may be, $150. And many excursions, when you go to foreign places, they're there for people who just want to get off the bus, look around for 10 minutes just to say that they've been there. Photographers, they want to go and they want to be there a while, and it's hard to tell a bus driver, I'm sorry, I'm not done yet, when they have a schedule to keep. But when you have 50 people or you have 30 people that have all paid and we're all with the same group and we all refuse to get on the bus until we're all done, it gives us a little more flexibility.
Yeah.
Another example too is we actually we were on Princess Cruise Line, and one of the baggage handlers dropped a lady's gear. And for one thing, she shouldn't have had her gear out. I mean, she shouldn't have been handing it out to anybody. She should have had it with her. But the handler broke both of her cameras and her laptop. So this was a once-in-a-lifetime cruise. We don't just get on cruises, or we don't just go do photography trips, once a month, or I don't know if I can't. Certainly I can. It's there's a little bit of an expense there. But so we were inside the, once we were on the boat, we were trying to figure out what can we do to help this person. And so several people had gear that they could loan her. And I got to thinking, Princess Cruise Line is a Nikon distributor. They're an official distributor of Nikon equipment. And so we went to the people on the boat. We said, you guys broke this lady's equipment. We've got 50 people here who are going to be reviewing you guys after the end of the cruise. You need to help her out. And they got her a body. And so they went to their stock and they pulled out a Nikon body and loaned it to her. Now, if it had been just me, or if it had been just one person, I don't know that would have happened. But our travel agent was there and she helped us with that, and we got that issue resolved. It wasn't resolved perfectly because the lady still had 2 broken cameras and a broken laptop. But at least she didn't go the entire trip without being able to take any pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So I think being in our group, those kind of things are just really, the fact that you're making a commitment to other people, that you're going to be at a place, that you're going to be at a photo walk, and that as a group you have the ability to organize things in a cost-effective manner. And then I guess, and lastly, probably most importantly, is just the social aspect. I've met people that I would have never met just through work, or just through my social circles. Just because somebody is a photographer doesn't mean that they walk a specific, walk in life, or that, I've met doctors, lawyers, people that I would never meet on a social basis, through photography and through a photography group. And that's one of the reasons why I support all social photography groups, is for that reason. Houston Photo Walks, we don't live in a void. We've done things with the Woodlands group and with the Katy photography group, because we feel it's important to to support social photography and the social aspects.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. And, working with other groups, or just, meeting people inside your group. I've met people that have jobs at Exxon and all different things.
Right.
And it's really interesting to me seeing people's backgrounds and
right. Exactly.
why they love photography.
Exactly. Yeah, the Woodlands group, I guess about 3 months ago, invited me to come teach a class for them, and it was a great bunch of people I would have never met had it not been from, being able to rub elbows and shake hands with the folks in the group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So you talked about cruises that y'all have been on and some different trips that y'all have taken. What do y'all have coming up that people need to jump in on?
Well, I think I looked at the schedule before I left, and I think we have 4 or 5 different things that are coming up. I wrote them down so that I wouldn't forget them. We have a photography adventure cruise that's coming up. We're going to San Juan, San Martin, and San Thomas. I don't know if you've heard of Mayho Beach or not. That's the beach where it's a really small beach right at the end of a very small airport. And so the planes land like right on top of the beach, just like, just a few, maybe 50, 60 or 100 feet or whatever above your head. So it feels like the planes are right on top right on top of you. And you may have seen pictures of, people on the beach with these planes right on. So we're going to that beach. We're going to spend the entire day there for that cruise. We also hired two professional photographers that are going to come, and they're going to do our webinars. Our classes for us during the cruise. So we're going to do. I wish I could remember the subjects, but we're going to do several workshops while we're at sea, and then we're going to do our excursions while we're in land. And then also coming up is 500pics, 500px.com, which is they're kind of like flickr.com, photo sharing. 500pics and Red Bull has invited us to lead the Houston leg of their worldwide photo walk. That's coming up September 17th, and we're going to do it in Herman Park. And then the Kelby Worldwide Photo Walk is going to be on October 9th, and we're going to do our downtown at night, and also downtown Old Town Spring for the Katy Walk too. So
that worldwide photo walk, I just looked it up briefly, and when you see that people all over the world are going out and take pictures, they're using hashtags so that you can click on it and kind of look at everybody's picture. I think that's so neat.
It's very cool.
Kind of like a worldwide movement to get some pictures.
And everybody doing the same thing on the same day. It's kind of like the World Pinhole Photography Day, which I think it's the last Sunday in April. Not a lot of people do pinhole photography anymore, but on that particular day, everybody that does pinhole photography does it that day.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, and also, okay, so you've talked about how amazing your group is, Houston Photo Walks. So, what are the are there membership fees? Are there fees for the events? Or are they all different?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. Some groups they'll have like membership fees, like you have to pay once a year. I didn't feel that really worked for us. Some groups do donations, where every group has to have a budget. Because there's expenses. You have to pay for the website. We give out free bottles of water all through the summer. So there's expenses and they have to be paid. Some groups will do like donations. And I tried doing donations one time. And it was at the very beginning. And I set it up. There's a way on our website that you can set up donations. And I turned the button on. And I told everybody, okay, the donation button is turned on. And a friend of mine, Gerard, he logged in and donated money. And I immediately had like this panic attack. I was like, but what if Gerard never comes to another event? Or what if he comes to an event and it totally sucks and he hates it? Or what if we use that money for something and Gerard didn't appreciate that? And so I just had, and Gerard is a really nice guy. He would never do any of that. But I just thought, well, what if somebody did kind of make that? So I immediately turned it off, because I didn't want this whole... Honestly, he gave $5. It wasn't even like he gave like $100. I could have bought him 2 coffees and we would have been even. But what I finally became most comfortable with, and I felt worked best for the group, was we ask for money when we think people are getting something in return that's of value. So, for example, if we teach a class, a lot of classes, you can take classes either online or in person, and it can cost you, $120 or whatever. Right. We do them for $20. So we're still a social photography group. We're still socially together as a group and as friends. But at the same time, we're still compensating the people that are doing the work. If we go to like a museum, I'll collect all of the money in advance. Let's say it's a $15 charge to get in the museum. I'll collect all of the money in advance, and then I'll write one big check to the museum along with we'll give a little donation or whatever as part of that. And the reason we do that is so when people get there, if we have 30 people that show up and they're all using their credit cards, if it takes 2 minutes for them to swipe the credit card, that's an hour to get everybody in the building. So that makes it easy for us to do that. And we also have like a tipping system. So like our organizers, they spend a lot of time putting this stuff together, and I'm really a jerk when it comes to making sure everything is planned out really well, and that people are on time, that the organizer is on time, and that everything is done, in a certain way, and that we don't ever want to take somebody to a place and then we suddenly get kicked out. So we have to make all the phone calls and get all the paperwork, if there's any paperwork involved. And some organizers just don't want to have to deal with it. Some people just wouldn't want to have to deal with that. So I compensate our organizers with a tipping system, and the way we do that is basically a voluntary $2. And if somebody has a good time, they can tip the organizer $2. That's enough. But we have maybe 10% of the people will do the tips, and it's enough to cover the organizer's, gas to get there. So that's really the way we handle. The way we pay bills is through our advertising. So we'll charge for advertising, and we do advertising through affiliate links, and that's how we pay for the bottles of water. That's how we pay for donations to when we do a donation to a specific place, to a museum or what have you, and that's how we pay for the website fees, which I think it's $175 every 6 months or something similar. I can't remember, or $140 every 6 months. And that's how we cover that. That way we don't have to ask for donations.
Right. Well, come on, the other 90% of people need to step it up a little bit.
I'm totally okay. It's fine as long as when I'm sending somebody, if an organizer is going to a place, let's say somebody comes from Houston if they live in Sugar Land, they come to Conroe for a Conroe photo walk. I want to be able to help that person with their gas money, and the $2 tips have always been able to help with that. And so, yeah, it's worked out really well. It's worked out really well.
That's a very similar concept to in New Orleans. I've done these tours. They're not photography tours, just like historical tours, and it's free tours by foot.
Oh,
and that's their deal. Is you sign up, it's completely free. You can take the tour. If you liked it, you can tip them, and if you didn't like it, it was free.
Oh, well, there you go.
And,
wait, you said this is in New Orleans?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So you travel from here to New Orleans to do the free events?
Oh, no. Just when I'm in New Orleans, you sign up for it. You can sign up for them anytime. It's always going.
Oh, you mean you attend them?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant that you were leading
No,
them.
no.
No,
yeah. I was saying that I've been to similar things like that where you can just tip if you had a good time, and then if not, all's good.
Yeah. Not everybody has, tip money, or not everybody feels that they had a great time. But those that do, they do.
And it might be a little bit different if you're a struggling college student.
You
want to get out, but you're like, I'm broke.
Exactly. Or you're a parent, and it's like the weekend is your one time to shuffle the kids off to the husband or to the wife, and you just want to go do something.
Oh my goodness, I can relate to that. Yeah. I definitely relate to that. I feel like I have very little time where I can be like, okay, just watch them.
Right.
Let me get away and just do something.
Right. Please take him for 3 hours.
Just for a couple hours.
It's not that we don't love our kids. It's just we want 3 hours for ourselves.
Oh yeah. Is that possible to have just any amount of time to yourself without anybody climbing on you?
Well, it takes negotiation skills, and
Absolutely. Okay, so give everybody the website, just HoustonPhotoWalks.com, right?
Yep, HoustonPhotoWalks.com, right. Okay,
and y'all are on Facebook. And before we finish up, I also wanted to talk about, before the show, you brought up a blog that you have all about print deals and printing.
Oh yeah, it's kind of a side project that I'm working on. We don't print a lot. Let me change that. We don't print enough. As photographers, we have gotten really, really comfortable with, we take the picture, we post-process it, we put it on Facebook, and we're done. And then when we want something on our wall, we go to Walmart and we buy a cheap print. Or an arts and crafts store and buy a cheap print. So what I did is I created this blog, and basically it has articles. It helps people understand how to print their pictures or how to prepare their pictures for printing. And then it has just a daily run of current quote-unquote deals or coupons. A lot of companies that print online, once a year, they will do a freebie or a buy one, get one free. Something that would cost you $40, they're going to give you something for free, and it's really hard to keep up with it unless you're going to all
Right.
50 of these different printing websites. That's the blog project that I'm currently working on. Yeah.
Okay, so is it up and running?
Oh yeah, it's been going
what
for
is it?
about 3 years now. It's printdealsguy.com.
Okay.
Printdealsguy.com.
And I know a lot of the professional labs, like just to try them out, they'll give you 10 free 8x10s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of them.
Well, and a lot of times all you have to do is sign up.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, let's be honest. Really, what they want is your email address because they want to send you
Yes.
something 2 or 3 times a month. But I mean, if you can sacrifice your email address, giving it to an online printing company,
Mm-hmm.
and in return, you can get an 8x10
Yeah.
print or a free photo book, then maybe it's worth it.
And you can always unsubscribe.
Oh yeah. Well, by law, they have to have that unsubscribe button
Yeah,
at the
so
bottom,
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten, either a little free album or a little, there's a lab that regularly does a necklace. And so, these are things I just keep for me. I'm not trying to give them to clients or anything,
Right,
but I put my
right.
kids' pictures on them. And
Oh, that's cute.
so
Yeah.
I have signed up for so many different labs just for the freebie.
I know, right? And you'll keep the necklaces and the bracelets and stuff. You'll keep them forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're very cool.
But I think that's great to really promote printing. I know in this day and age, people don't really print a whole lot. And I'm a big advocate of printing. This past week, I've got to figure out what the name of the site was. But they shared a video, and then I had to share it. And it was from this TV show where the mom realized that their computer crashed and they lost every picture they'd ever had.
Oh, jeez.
And it was like the panic mode of their graduation and everything was on there. And,
yeah, that's horrible.
it happens. Digital
Yeah.
things go wrong. So you
Yeah.
definitely have to print, whether it's
Right.
4x6s or whatever.
Exactly. Well, one of the classes I'm going to be teaching here in the next couple of months is a photography workflow class, and one of the parts of that workflow is going to be backups.
Yes.
Having both your online backup and that extra backup that's sitting on your desk. It's just so important.
Yeah.
It is so easy just to, I have a brand new, at the time I had a brand new Mac about 2 years ago, and there was an issue with the hard drives. And so they all started failing, and they did a recall on the hard drives, and mine failed. And if I hadn't had a backup plan, I would have been messed up.
Yeah.
I would have been messed up. So, but when it went out, I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
And I looked on my phone, to kind of figure out what to do about it, and I saw that there was a recall for this particular hard drive, and I just took it in and had it fixed. And
Yeah, and it didn't have to be the crisis.
I wasn't worried about it at all. I slept just fine that night, waiting for it to be fixed the next day. Yeah, because between online backups and 2 backups on my desktop, or not in the desktop machine, but on my actual desk. It just makes life so much easier.
And I know that there's hard drives where they'll double write. Like at the same time you're saving it, it'll write to 2 different hard drives.
Right.
Anything like that. I remember taking a class, it was probably 2009, and the instructor was saying, okay, you save it to your hard drive and then you burn a CD of everything.
Oh,
good Lord. I couldn't imagine having every picture on a CD. And his point is that, like, if there's a fire at the studio, he has everything on a CD at his house.
Right.
But, good Lord, I could not imagine.
But we've learned that was a myth, because now after 6 years, that DVDs were supposed to last forever, and now we find out no, they're not lasting forever. In fact, they're only lasting 5 or 6 years. In fact, if you were one of the people lucky enough to have a writable DVD or a writable CD back in the day, at the very first you would do all your backups on a writable DVD or CD rather, but they weren't always well aligned. And so then you would trade out your computer, you buy a new computer, you would get a faster CD-ROM drive or whatever, and then you couldn't read those discs anymore. So it's you're constantly playing catch up when it comes to your backups. And when I'm going to do the class, I'm going to explain exactly what happened through history and hopefully get people on the ball, because I hear it all the time. Oh, I'm so worried. What happens if my computer crashes? if your computer crashes, you should be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah,
You should be
absolutely.
able to sleep.
And I think people should start to kind of expect bad things to happen. I mean,
yeah.
it's going to happen eventually.
Right.
Be prepared for
Right.
it.
I mean, whether it's your house burning down or flooding or, a machine going bad or, just an electrical storm that zaps your computer.
Right.
There's just no way to know. So, yeah.
But also, I don't have much problem with that because I print, well, for my kids anyway. I'm not going to say I print all my client work just for me, but for pictures of my kids, I print everything.
Sure. Yeah.
I have albums and I have, 20 by 30s on the wall, all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
Which I highly recommend to anybody.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't long ago that a 20 by 30 was like over $200. And now you can get them for $200-$300. I'm sorry. You can get them for $20-$30 if you catch them on sale. Yeah. So canvas prints are really nice. You can get them really good price right now.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time out to talk to us today.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more time, remind everybody of the websites and Facebook and everything.
Well, it's HoustonPhotoWalks.com is how you get to our website. And if you want to join, there's just a big red button there. You just click the big red button that says join. After that, you'll start getting updates whenever we have new events. And my blog is printdealsguy.com.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to get out there and do some shooting with y'all.
No, actually, I really would prefer that you did. Come out and join us. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. I'm going to try. See if I can put it in.
I'm going to start emailing you daily and saying, okay. You haven't signed up yet. I don't see an RSVP. When are you coming? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again for being here. And
thanks for having me.
We will see everybody next time on next Tuesday at 12 o'clock, irlonestar.com. Until then, keep on shooting.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.